So this is my brand new purchase project bike that we're going to do. Most likely I'm going to have to pull the motor, split the cases, disassemble the transmission, and replace second gear and any other components that are damaged. I heard the bevel gear, which is like a transfer gear for the drive shaft for the transmission. I heard those go bad. Possibly the shift drum, the shift mechanism could get broken, the arm on it. But it shifts into every gear, just pops out a second. Most likely it's a shift fork or bad gear. But we won't know that until we get into it. But I was told the bike hasn't run in over 3 years. It's just been sitting under a tarp. It's not too bad looking for just sitting for 3 years. It's actually fairly clean and considering where it was sitting at. So I'm gonna go through, pull the plugs, put some oil down in cylinders, check that, make sure they're good. Check the fluids. Tank's bone dry. So we'll flush the tank out, flush the fuel system out on it real quick, put some fresh gas in it. She doesn't have a battery in it. The battery was shot. Guy couldn't find it. He had it sitting around a shop somewhere. He couldn't find it. But I do believe it takes the same battery as the wife's bike. So I'll have to buy a brand new battery. If it is the same battery, I'll take the wife's old battery, stick it in this for maintenance purposes, and buy her a brand new one. So but anyways, I should be able to get it jumped off in the morning. But I got some precautionary stuff I want to do to the bike before we try to jump it off. It's a good running bike. Hopefully everything's good on it. We'll go through and check everything. There's some stuff on it that needs to be removed. To secure the electrical system, there's like a radio system installed on the bike. We've got to go through and check all those connections and everything. And but one cool thing, this has got that funky 2-up seat on it. I did get the solo seat. It's sitting up there. So, and I got a box of some spare parts and whatnot, and service manual specific to the model. Because this is one of the unique models. This is first year they produced this Indian Chief lookalike bike, based on the same platform as the Vulcan. Rear swing arm setup's a little different, and of course the fenders are all different, and lights and that kind of stuff. So I'll figure out all the differences. But as far as I understand, the engines are fairly similar. Few things, like this one's got a hotter cam in it. It's got a little bit more radical cam in it. This one's got the hypercharger set up on it. A couple other things. I think compression ratio is a little different on this one. But as far as I know, this is the first year Kawasaki went to the fuel injection system. So 1999, Kawasaki's have a fuel injection system on them. I'm already acquainted with it. So, it's nothing new to me. It's a pretty good system. The wife's bike's an 07, so it's a little bit later version of it. But, this engine's basically the same as that one. I'll find all the differences as we go through, and anybody who wants to comment, you go ahead and let me know what the differences are. That'd be nice. Seeing as how I'm most likely going to be tearing that engine completely apart. And we'll go through finding out what's going on with it. I'm watching as much information as I possibly can, to learn as much as I can before tear down for any, procedures. But we'll get her up on the lift. Dinah's just sitting there occupying a little space right now. We got to yank her rear wheel off. We've got a problem with the rear wheel offset, and I do believe my top motor mount might be out of adjustment. But we're gonna check the rear fender, check everything. Nothing's rubbing. She rolled just fine. She rode all through the mountains with Dad, no problems. But we'll get that fixed. I got that other wheel up there, right there, underneath that fender. That's the front fender for the 16-inch wheel. The front wheel is actually up under the bench down there. But that's the rear wheel that needs the new spokes. So we'll spoke it. If there's an issue with this wheel that can't be fixed, fuck it, I'll scrap it. Respoke it. Put that one on. No big issue for me. You really can't see that spoked wheel in there with the bags and all that, and even without the bags, it wasn't that, So, not like the front wheel. The front wheel, that's awesome. But back to this bike. So, we're going to go through it. We're going to fix it. We're going to get it running. And if we can't, if, there's other issues on the bike, then we'll see what we can do with it. It's a fairly good condition, I hadn't had a real good opportunity to go really in depth on the bike, to really look it over good, but it's got some stuff on it. I'm a Florida Gator. All the turn signals are broken and messed up, so we're gonna have to deal with that, and it's got some personalized, stuff on it. We'll have to deal with all that stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff on it, we'll have to deal with. That windshield is cracked and it's all distorted, so we'll have to change the plexiglass. We'll have to, disconnect that stuff eventually. There's some issues with the throttle cable and the brakes. The brakes are sticking, so we'll go through the master cylinders and everything. But first step, we're going to see if we can get the electronics powered up tomorrow. If we get the electronics powered up tomorrow and we go through all of our tests and she's ready, then we're going to hit the button and see what she does. And if I hear that distinctive sound, I'll know. She's a good bike. But there's a couple issues, So there's major issue with the front fender. And unfortunately, that's one of the big draws for this. I'm a little peeved that was that bad, and he never said anything. But, for what I paid for this bike, and for what I think I'm going to get out of it, when it's all said and done, I'll deal with a repop. If I can't find a replacement, I haven't seen any on eBay right now, but I just started looking. So, if anybody knows, I'd like a color matching to the front end of this bike, But if not, I get her up and running. Anybody might be interested in it. We're gonna see about anybody in the family wants it. If anybody in the family wants it, it'll be a good running bike when I'm all done with it. And we'll have to, fix all the little problems on it. So, but yeah, she hasn't run yet. Just got her home tonight. Got her off the trailer, and put her in here. So we'll get the dyno off the lift tomorrow, and we'll get this thing up on there, and we'll start going through it, and we'll check. But it's got oil in it. There was no oil stains underneath the bike, so that was good. But it's been sitting for quite some time. But looking at the chrome, it literally looks like somebody just put the bike away after riding it in the rain or something, Well, I did hit a little rain on the way home, so maybe got a little bit of a wash job, but, it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. So, that's a performance piece right there, man. Happy to see that. Alright, well, stay posted. I'll give you some more updates as we figure out the bike.